the Believe in Iowa State podcast. I'm your host, Tyler Carter.
And I'm your host, Cody Vanciolo.
Cody, it is great to be back. It's New Year's Eve. Do you have any New Year's resolutions going into the new year?
Um, I'd say for me personally, obviously, the number one thing for me is to graduate. Obviously, I mean I'm coming
Hmm.
up on that, so I definitely want to be able to really enjoy my last semester. Kind of just take things one day at a time, realistically, because it's as the days wind down, you don't know how much you have left. So it's I just want to enjoy my last semester before I graduate. Number two, hopefully land a post a full time post grad job or something like that. And then ultimately just being better with finances. That's a real thing. So just really enjoying uh,
Sorry, guys, we're having technical. Please forgive me.
uh, yeah. I think another one we can add is better connectivity. I think that's another one.
Yes, better connectivity. I know. For me, I guess I just really just more consistency in areas of my life. Being consistent, like you said, with finances, trying to be better with that, and being more consistent, and being more diligent. I'd say would is my word. Oh, what a throw! What a
Yep.
throw! Oh, that was beautiful. Okay,
Yep.
sorry,
Yeah.
we were watching the Vandy Iowa game.
Yeah.
That was a rope. Holy crap!
Yeah. So
Wow.
yeah. For those who may just be tuning, who aren't watching bowl season right now, yeah, we're watching the Reliant West Bowl between Iowa and Vanderbilt. Iowa was up 21-3, and then one play, Diego Pavia just throws a dime to Trey Richardson for a 75-yard touchdown, and they're on the board touchdown wise, and they're right back in this game.
Yep. And sorry, but to go back to my New Year's resolution, like I said, consistency in all areas of my life. Being diligent with really just with this. I think I'm gonna set aside a day where I just do editing for this and really just finding ways to be better at this podcasting thing. We've been doing it for over a year now, and would love to take a huge jump in year two.
Hmm. Yeah.
All right,
So
yo, okay, go ahead.
yeah. So that's our personal. What are some ones that you have maybe for you want to see from Iowa State? What are some things you see in the new year
So
for them?
yes, since this is the Iowa State podcast, we're gonna talk about Iowa State, of course. So I think for the basketball team, um, going into conference play, stay healthy, keep up the intensity. For Iowa State football, honestly, is to really show some fight in the new year, and really, and like honestly, for us as a, I think for us just as a collective to just grow as a fan base. Um, Obviously, I wouldn't. I'm not going to be the type of person to say that you should like we probably should like tamper expectations, but also when we get into the groove of this tenure of coaching staff, not to accept like the bare minimum. Like we now after a decade of Matt Campbell being here, we know what it's like to win double digit games and to make it to conference championship games. But to and to I'll say this to not lose that expectation just because we're Iowa State and we don't deserve nice things. Nah, we gotta grow out of that. Like we've seen the six type of success that we can have. We should be able to expect that. Obviously, in the first year, probably not. But hey, maybe in 2027, 2028, and beyond, I think with Jimmy Rogers and with who he has coming back, we're going to get into that in a few minutes. But yeah, I think that's what I'm looking for in Iowa State. What are you looking to see?
Uh, I mean, if we're gonna go to talk about football, first off, I want to be able to kind of have a team that we're going to field a team. The quality of it,
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, but maybe I'd say a bowl game would be kind of nice for the
Yes.
squad. If they make it to a bowl game, like go 6-6 or 7-5, that's great for the squad. that's great. Like that, given the rebuild and everything, and then back to football, there needs to be like look, the transfer portal as a whole is a wild west. We need to make like strides to get that cleared up because it is kind of ridiculous just how much the transfer portal is affected. And I mean, for Iowa State personally, this is the first time they've been really affected by the transfer portal with the mass
Mm-hmm.
exodus. I mean, years like obviously under Matt Campbell, you didn't really see that massive exodus of players like you did at other places. But now you're really starting to feel it, like for the first time as Iowa State fans. This is the first time you felt like like, but like the number you certainly didn't expect 40 players to leave because
Right.
that's not like that's the crazy thing. I mean, I get it. A coach leaves or whatever, he takes a new job. I expected maybe 20 to leave, but I did not expect like 45 plus to leave. That was the
Yeah.
wild thing I saw. I was like, literally, like it wasn't just like the fact that we lost about every starter on both sides of the ball. We were losing depth guys too, which is kind of surprising. I was like, I did not expect us to even to lose. Like it's one thing to expect to lose starters and the better players. That's fine. Like that's gonna happen. But you're losing depth players too. I'm like, what? So that kind of puzzled me. But there's probably more that we're gonna figure out. But with that, I mean, January 2nd. That's the day. Like I think a lot of Iowa State fans are waiting for. We're waiting to hold out for Friday, and then that's when we're probably gonna get a lot more good news.
Yes, it is we're going into a new year. It'll be a brand new day in Iowa State football. With that, we are going to take a look at the coaching and support staff. All those have been confirmed now. We're going to go to the football page and check all those out.
Hmm. Yeah, and some of these names are probably like names that we've already heard of. Like Jesse Bobbitt had been named the coordinator. He's coming over with Jimmy Rogers. Also, I think you had the Toledo defensive coordinator also coming over to Iowa State. So a couple names have already been named, but we have seen some more guys come in. And I mean, there's even and one thing I do love too is the coaches are embracing like Iowa State already. I think a couple of the guys have already put the football sigh as their banner, and then one of the coaches has put the Helmet Cars as header. So it's nice to see that at least right now these guys are really embracing Iowa State.
Yes, and now there is Pete Minich, who is the safeties coach. I believe this wasn't confirmed yet, but now we have confirmed now that Pete Minich is the safeties coach. So welcome, Coach Minich. Um, and then
Yeah,
there has
he's
just been
he's been one. Yeah, Pete Manage is one of the other guys that's coming along with Jimmy Rogers from Washington State. So nice sense of continuation with this new regime.
yes, there's a few other ones that were confirmed. Jalen Bibbs, the D line coach, has been confirmed. We reported that about I believe now 2 weeks ago now or about a week ago.
Mm-hmm.
Now that is confirmed. So Jalen Bibbs bringing his guys in. I can't wait to see.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Also, we have Michael Banks, who is the cornerback coach. So Ross Watson from Toledo. He's going to be the Sam Nichols and pass game coordinator. So if you remember, I did the solo pod. Toledo was basically top was in the top 10 in every single metric.
Mm-hmm.
I think besides like turnovers they were top 15. So expect a very aggressive bunch in the cornerback and safeties room.
That's gonna be so refreshing to watch. And I mean, I mean, all credit to obviously John Haycock and what he did for Iowa State in his 10 years as defense coordinator. He innovated. He certainly did. One of the things that like maybe was like a drawback was you weren't necessarily getting those turnovers, and there were games where you needed to create a turnover, but Iowa State didn't have an ability to do so, given like what their scheme is and like their goal with the defense. Now you did have playmakers, but it is like kind of it's like will forever love John Hickok what he did. But I am liking the fact that we are getting like we're gonna probably go with a more aggressive style of defense because the one thing I had been missing from this team, and I think could have taken this team to bigger heights, is creating those turnovers, getting picks, forcing fumbles, and other things like that. That is going to be key because in some of these games, you are going to need to create a turnover. Your defense needs to make a play, and it's nice that we're going to have like a coaching staff who is kind of like leaning into that more and more aggressive style of defense, and I think I kind of fall into that personally because I love when the defense creates a play, gets a turnover, because that gets not just the crowd into it, but also the team gets into it as a whole.
Yeah, and when that defense was implemented, that was back during a time when Baker Mayfield and types of quarterbacks like that were throwing it all over the yard.
Oh,
So
the air raid.
you needed a defense. Yeah, you needed it. Yeah, you needed a 3-3-5 to slow it down. But since it seems like everybody is going back to a hard nosed type of football back in the Big 12, or is going to that, not maybe not going back, but going to a more physical type of offense,
Hmm.
you got to have a defense who's be able to play man on man and be able to hit somebody.
Yeah, it's kind of like you like the as the defense like was implemented, everybody eventually evolved. Everybody eventually learned the defense. I mean,
Hmm.
that defense will forever have its impact on like NFL teams and college teams because a lot of teams came over to Ames and wanted to learn that defense from John Haycock. So, I mean, you talk about in it like a legacy left behind even after he retires because that 3-3-5 in some way, shape, or form has been implemented into a lot of teams. But yeah, a lot of like offenses to beat that. They went with a lot of more like intermediate, short to intermediate passes, or just like running the football and like running it down, like running it like right in through the defense because that's how you beat that kind of defense. They take away like the big plays, but it's like if you have an offense that's like, okay, we'll take what we give you. That's gonna eventually break a defense, and that's what we've kind of seen in like the last few years. It's just teams have adapted offensively, and I think um, also like you've seen with our defense, it still does solid, but it just kind of at times fails to catch up to the adaptations. But it is going to be
Right.
kind of truly refreshing to see. And I mean, I think you got the guy up there, Ricky Sassone.
Yeah. Sasson
Just the name Ricky.
or Ricky. I think it might be Ricky Chacon.
Oh,
I
Ricky
think.
Chacon. Either way, just the name Ricky. As soon as I saw that, the first thing I thought of was Boys in the Hood.
Ricky.
Oh, dude. Oh, dude. I don't know why some of these.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, and then also John Schaefer has the position of chief of staff, which is kind of like it's a new name, but it's kind of the same role as like a Derek Kooger, I would assume.
It's really of the more of the day to day stuff. The GM is basically they basically have like an NFL type model. So it's sort of like an NFL front office. GM is sort of like the general manager. So he's gonna be so Ricky is I think is gonna be helping Coach Rogers out, like putting together the recruiting classes and putting and piecing together the roster.
Hmm.
So look for him to be the guy that's gonna put all this roster together.
Hmm. And then
I
that's
think more of John's role. I think he is going to be the guy, like maybe he's going to be the point of contact if you're trying to get into contact um, with Coach Rogers. At least that's what I got from reading the descriptions of what those jobs mean.
hmm yeah. So I mean, really intriguing news. Yeah, really intriguing news. I also just got an update. So I mean, we're also doing a little bit of live reporting. Looks like Arizona State and Duke are tied because Arizona State is playing in the Tony the Tiger Sun Bowl against the Duke Blue Devils. So that's
Ooh,
yeah. We're hoping the Big 12 continues to win. But before we could talk about the Big 12, I mean some of these like announcements, obviously transfer portal. I think it can be universally agreed that the fan base has got portal fatigue. To quote Keith Murphy, because he kind of coined the phrase
yeah,
portal fatigue, and I think a lot of fans have we've been fatigued with like players leaving, but we did receive some really good news like today, and I mean it's been
yes.
trickling down. I mean, first
Here, there are some of the football here. I'm sorry to interrupt, but there are a few on the football page that I do want to show you.
mhm.
I passed up one, but man, Ryland Barnes is going to be staying. That was huge.
Ah, the Barnes Farms. That was such a great story to hear. Like 2024 in the West Virginia game, that guy he stepped up in a big way when all the linebackers got injured. He had himself a pretty solid game, and he made a pretty nice story in 2024. So it's nice to see him stay. And obviously with his family in Iowa and having that big farm, it kind of just felt it felt like on it felt very on brand for Iowa State to have a dude who's a linebacker whose family owns a farm. It just was coded Iowa State, and it's nice to see that he's coming back.
Am I crazy to think that he'll be better in this scheme than the 3-3-5?
I think he could be. I think some schemes. I think he was solid in this game, but I'm curious to see how this game plays out for him because I think it could be better in this game.
Because it's probably going to be 4-2-5, and probably you're probably going to see a base 4-3-2. So you're actually going to
Yeah.
be playing a natural linebacker position.
Mm-hmm.
But we'll have to see.
Yep. And then we did see also as well a little bit earlier Malik Verdon's younger brother Trey Verdon. So the Verdon family is going to stay in Ames, Iowa, some way, shape, or form. With Trey Verdon staying.
Yeah, dude, this is a huge piece. He definitely showed some potential last year and getting some playing time, along with another young defensive piece, Jace Gilbert. Um, One thing that I am realizing is that this staff is definitely gonna at least Jimmy Rogers. He definitely wants them to work with Jalen Bibbs
Mm-hmm.
and being able to like maybe be like that Washington State D line that got 15 sacks last year. Maybe turn them into to those type of guys that get pressure, consistent pressure on the quarterback. Something that we have been talking about, Cody. That uh, Iowa State needed.
Yeah. And speaking of defensive line, we got confirmation yesterday at about 6 o'clock. Zamir Hawk is going to be staying at Iowa State. Remember,
Yes. Oh
he
my
was
gosh.
what a huge player for Iowa State to keep. Zamir Hawk, I think we were waiting for him to have a breakout. I mean it's kind of hard to be on the same level as like a Dom Orange, so I'm curious to see how Zamir Hawk's gonna break out. But it is nice. I mean, he ran a whole poll on Instagram talking about if he'd stay or no, and the overwhelming majority said yes to stay, and I'm glad he is staying because I'm a like that's I'm a huge fan of him. Like, and I mean, the action he did, I mean, he was great on the D line along with the Dom Morris made some solid plays, and I think now with the focus on defensive line for Jimmy Rogers and his coaching staff, I think that's huge to keep. You get that sense of continuity, and you keep a guy who has been there in some way, shape, or form beforehand.
Uh, Yeah, and honestly, I feel like this is one of in a lot of people's lists, this is probably one of the top guys that you needed to bring back. Of
Mm-hmm.
course, besides everybody else on offense, but this is probably one of the top guys you need to get. And especially with and on the defensive side, you need these type of bridge linemen, especially with Jalen Bibbs to work with, especially mixed in with the young Washington State recruits. You have young building blocks to build on, and they'll be able to compete with the Washington State and San Diego State guys that we get.
Mm-hmm.
Oh
And
baby,
wait,
oh baby, Vanderbilt is driving again. Let's go.
oh,
Um,
all right, yeah, and then one more guy that we saw, Benny Nagoy, he's back.
yes.
Yeah.
Man, I am a very very big fan of this one. I I am a fan of big corners. Um,
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna talk go to the NFL real quick. Like in the NFL, having a big corner is like a big is an advantage, especially since like he wasn't used at receiver. But I'm really, really excited for him to come back. I think he's definitely going to do well in their coach banks.
Yep.
Uh,
And
oh man,
And I mean, we've seen this type of thing happen before, where you convert an offensive guy to like a wide receiver to a corner. Like first, I mean, first guy I think of is T.J. Tampa, who's with the Ravens. He converted from receiver to corner, and then most recently, Darian Porter. He was a guy that was committed, recruited as a receiver, switched over to corner and played on special teams, and we saw how much Darian Porter prospered in the 2024 season. All those block kicks. He was making some great plays. I mean, he had that pick against Iowa on that wheel route, and that played to me especially because I remember watching a film study. He had recognized that play from a previous year against Texas, where Texas ran that similar route and went for a touchdown. And Darian Porter recognized that play was happening, so he stayed back. in it, and then he intercepts Cade McNamara. So that's the type of film study that he does, and the type of guy that Darren Porter is on the field, and the commitment he has. So it is the and the work ethic he has. So really, like at some point, we might see Betty Nagori do something like that because I don't know. It's something about Iowa State converting offensive guys to defensive guys and it working out.
Definitely, man. I'm really, really excited. And hey, maybe this means that he might be an NFL guy too.
Mm,
Um, so I believe now we are up to 11 players
mm-hmm.
confirming that they said that they would come back.
Yep. And then I think I mean the number one thing is here is like we're all everybody everybody at Iowa State we're all waiting for Agusama still. Like that's the one guy I think everybody at Iowa State still waiting for is the decision from Abu Stama. People are leaning whether like I mean it's back and forth between him staying, him leaving. It is all over the place. I would like to think, me personally, it would be really nice for him to stay, considering he would be running back
Yes.
one, and he is a Southeast Polk product. He was teammates with Connor Mobley at one point, so and I wonder how much Connor Mobley is. I don't know how much Connor Mobley would be influencing that decision, but I think Connor Mobley would have a talk with Abu as a fellow teammate back at Southeast Polk about like his decisions and whatnot. And as I'm speaking, Vanderbilt has made this a one possession game.
Yes, sir. Let's go, Vandy.
Oh, anchor down. Vandy Pimp is up.
Yep, Vandy Pimp.
Dear
Get the
God.
Vandy Pimp.
I mean, this is. I mean, this is a lot of work, but I mean, that's bowl season for you. And also, some more live reporting. The Iowa State women have opened up a bit of a lead against Houston. They're
Let's
up nine right
go.
now. They were down at 1.5 to Houston, but they've opened up a bit of a lead, and they're looking to go 2-0 in Big 12 play and get a road win now. I, but yeah, and then I mean that probably can lead us right to basketball because with
Yes.
no full game to worry about for football, Iowa State can put their focus into basketball.
And with that, we're going to take a look into Evan Maya. Evan Maya is a college basketball analytics site that really goes in depth, even more in depth
Yeah.
than KenPom. So we're
Yep.
gonna show you that real quick, and
Mm-hmm.
we're gonna do use it to break down Friday's matchup against West Virginia.
Yeah.
Cody, I'm gonna need you to lead the way on this because I have no clue how to use this.
Yep. 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 So for those new to Evan Mia, you might have seen him on Twitter. He's a statistics kind of guy. He's got a PhD in statistics, so um, pretty knowledgeable guy. But look, if you are watching the stream on YouTube or Twitter, what you see is offensive and defensive ratings. Those are like kind of like think of like efficiency ratings for like and their impact on the floor. You look at Iowa State, Joshua Jefferson, Tame Lissi, Mila Momcilovic are clearly, without a doubt, the best three. You see Milan and Jefferson in the top two when it comes to offensive. So it's kind of like impact on like how much are
Hmm.
you impacting a certain side of the ball when it comes to like when you're on the court. So seeing this is like it makes a lot of sense. And the general trend is yeah, it makes sense. Your big three is your most impactful players. Milan is the kind of like the slightly better guy offensively, but Joshua Jefferson is kind of like the all around guy, both offensive, defensive, pretty nice. And just overall, you can go here and you just take a look at like some like charts. And I think uh, thinking about like West Virginia, I do remember that they do have the coach who was within the Grant McCassin tree. He was at North Texas last year, so not too familiar. But West Virginia, they are projected. Yeah, Honor Huff. He's the guy offensively that I think can give Iowa State a little bit of trouble because he's like their main scorer. But outside of that, I don't see a lot of other things. But yeah, you can even take a look on here, top lineups. You can see just how different lineups affect the success of a team and just overall. I would have to do a little more studying, but from my like my look at it, yeah, he does a really good job at like kind of like scoring like kind of like how efficient both units are. Kind of like Ken Palm, of course. I think does better like, but he does like in a more detailed way.
Right.
Yeah, but thinking about this, like for opening, like for conference play as a whole, we're really finally about time getting into Big 12 play, and this West Virginia matchup for Iowa State. Oh damn, paywall.
Darn. Paywall. Well, so much for that.
Okay, but I mean, thinking about West Virginia, obviously, they gave us problems last year. I mean, Javon Small mainly. He was the guy that gave us problems last year when Iowa State kind of had like that, like kind of like that one game that just randomly dropped. Because that's what happens with Iowa State. There tends to be one or two games that they just drop randomly for no particular reason, and West Virginia is was one of those teams. Now, looking at their schedule, their biggest win so far, I think the best one so far was a beatdown of Pitt for the backyard brawl. Now, take it with a grain of salt. Pitt isn't exactly the world beers would think they are, but there is some significance to Iowa State, as you have two
Right.
former Cyclones in that squad, in Deshaun Jackson and Noyes injured. Well, Deshaun Jackson, I think, has medical issues, so he's out definitely, and then Noyes is on that squad too. But Pitt isn't exactly lining it up in the ACC, and then they did take Ohio State into double overtime. And I believe that game was in Columbus, so they can compete. Like they could certainly compete. And I mean, yeah, Honor Huff is like the main guy for them, so he's the guy that can give Iowa State trouble. But I think for Iowa State, obviously, they did have a bit of a sleeper game against Houston Christian. You kind of even expect that when you're ready for conference play. But I think for Iowa State, this is like one of those things that's like, okay, you start off on the right foot. You get this game at home. It's a 8 p.m. tip off on ESPN2, so it's nice being the standalone game on a Friday night, which is kind of weird because I don't recall the last time Iowa State played on a Friday night.
It was years ago. Probably not since like one of those Cyhawk games, but
Hmm.
um,
Interesting.
yeah.
Were you there? Like, were you like I don't know? You're when you're there. When do they typically have basketball? Because was that the first year of Hoiberg?
It might have been. That sounds familiar. Usually those were on Thursday nights, but like I think one I want to say one of them was on Friday night.
Yeah,
Not sure though.
yeah. Because I was thinking like take a look here. I gotta take a look at this. Like, yeah, I'm doing we're doing a little bit of retrospective when it comes to uh, Big 12 Iowa State basketball. Oh God, yeah. This was Hoiberg's first year. Went 3-13, but I mean, you did have Melvin Edge come in, and then you had Chris Babb, Royce White among the transfers, and obviously at that time you had to sit out a year after transfers. So,
Hmm.
and then yeah, but man, just I wonder what you were. Did you think at that point in time, you like as a freshman at Iowa State, did you think that this 3-13 team would eventually win a Big 12 title and like have like some of the best players in Iowa State history?
To be honest, no. I think the 2011-12 school year, which was my freshman year, I had no idea what to expect with the basketball team, man. Because I
Mm-hmm.
was like, man, at the time, I was still, getting used to being a Florida fan and learning to become an Iowa State fan in
Mm-hmm.
my freshman year. And I was like, you know what, this basketball team's pretty good. And then they really showed me something when they upset Kansas at home,
Mm.
72-64. Tyrus McGee went off in that game. I think he had like 25 points off the bench.
Oh. Mm-hmm. Oh, wait, let me see. Tyrus McGee. Oh, you said 2011-12.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I was looking at the year. I was looking at the year before.
Oh
Uh,
yeah. The year
yeah. Okay.
before would have been his first year, but that was I was still in high school at that point.
Oh, okay. Oh, wait, that makes sense. Okay, never mind. Yeah, I might have gotten my. I think. Yeah,
No,
but
no
I mean,
worries,
yeah, because like I'm looking at the roster here. Boo Boo Paolo,
man.
Scott Christopherson, and
Yep.
Tyrus. Gee, like looking back at this, it's so wild just to see how like different like conferences are like and whatnot. But yeah, I mean back to West Virginia. Yeah, it's this game for me. It's like okay, you're starting Big 12 play. Start off on the right foot by getting a win here, and I think for in conference play, like I think the expectation is you protect home floor. You win all your games
Yes.
at home. That is the expectation I think Iowa State should have for themselves to not just win the Big 12, but potentially vie for a number one seed. Because right now, them, Michigan, Arizona, and Duke are like all in contention. But for Iowa State, yeah. But I mean,
Well, and if you look at it, Iowa State probably has the best chance to slip up out of all of them because if you look at Michigan's schedule is that they really not going to have anybody that's going to challenge them until the middle of January when they play Michigan State.
Yeah.
Honestly, and Iowa State, we have KU. Was it the fifth game or sixth
Yeah.
game?
Yeah. At Allen Fieldhouse,
Yeah.
and then Arizona. And then I gotta look at Arizona because I don't think they have that necessarily that challenging of a like of a game. I'm looking through their like thing. The only thing, I mean, until BYU, they don't have to face off against a
Mm.
relatively difficult team until they go to the Marriott Center on January 26th. Meanwhile, for Iowa State, they got to go to Baylor, and then at Kansas, and then at Oklahoma State, all within I think a 2 week
Mm.
span. So yeah, out of any of the teams that are vying for like the Big 12, yeah, Iowa State has like out of for a 1 seed. Yeah, Iowa State is likely a team that could like they could be the ones that slip up. Yeah, because they got to go to Baylor on the 7th, and then at Oklahoma State on the 24th, and then you also have at Kansas on the 13th, and then real quick, I'll also throw in Duke because I still think that they can be like that last 1 seed maybe
Yeah.
because I mean who oh wait or it could be UConn, but take a look at Duke first because I think the ACC outside of Duke and North Carolina, like who would you like have like in that like
In the ACC,
yeah
I think Duke's gonna win it.
yeah, but I mean this is
J-
kind of this is interesting because they do have to go to Louisville on the 6th, so
That
that'll
one is
be
gonna be interesting. I still think Duke is still better. I guess
mhm,
the only the wild card I'll say in the ACC is Virginia.
yeah
Virginia got off to a good start, and
hmm
I remember when they were chirping Iowa State fans about Blake Buchanan.
oh
Oh,
yeah
we didn't even need him.
okay
Okay.
anyways yeah and then I think another team UConn they have to go to Seton Hall on the 13th. So the same day Iowa State has to go to Allen Fieldhouse, they got to go to Seton Hall. And Seton Hall is actually pretty solid this year in the Big East.
I mean, I'd even say that like they're uh, one of the that they could upset UConn in New York. So
hmm Oh, Seton
we'll have to
Hall.
see.
Yeah, Seton Hall. Wait, yeah, no, that's New Jersey. They're New
Sorry, New
St.
Jersey,
I think
my
you're
bad.
thinking. I think you were thinking of St. John's at the
Yeah, my
Garden.
bad. They're at Prudential, my bad.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. But yeah, I mean, early like this early like race like this will set the tone for Iowa State. So um
I guess what are your expectations that you what are things that you want to see in this game?
I think number one, the bigs they gotta like be able to adjust to like playing big boy basketball because now you're running
Hmm.
into conference play. You're gonna be running into taller, stronger guys. So I would like to see how like Blake Buchanan and Dominicus Plata handle that, and that's one thing you gotta see. Number two, you really gotta be able to like. Obviously, you're probably gonna have like continue production for like Killian Torre and then the big three. Just have like that be a consistent thing. Killian Torre, because I mean, for the first time, Taman Lipsy has been that thus far healthy, and it kind of helps when you have Killian Torre taking on the number one guy for every opposing team. So you can continue to do that, and then obviously you get your contributions. So, and then we did see at times like I think just these last like these buy-in games, Iowa State hasn't looked that particularly great. Kind of like in the half court hasn't really, and they've played a bit sloppy.
Hmm.
But I mean, it's kind of to be expected when you're playing these buy games. You just want to get to conference play, and it makes sense. But
Right.
that's the funny thing, like because I was frustrated even ever we won a game at 30, and I think that just shows just um like kind of like it's funny how we can like the biggest thing that we could take away from a 30-point win over a random team is just how bad we played. But it's kind of good that we get this out now and figure out where
Yeah.
we are at this point before we head to conference play. So and just continue to iron things out, and then you just need to continue playing really good defense, like continue like to force turnovers, get points in transition, because that's like where I was, and then you just let Milan Montilovic continue to shoot the ball. He obviously had an off night
Yes.
on Monday, but I mean that's to be expected. Like you aren't really playing anybody of that high caliber, so really continue to see him shooting the ball at a high rate. He's obviously not going to make as many threes as he's had right now. He's probably, that 55% shooting rate from three is probably going to go down. But I think you want to see him like kind of at a more like a 38 to like a 41 or maybe
Mm-hmm.
42%, dare I say. And then Joshua
Yeah.
Jefferson continues to like kind of be the all around guy. And then the bench, Nate Heise and Jamarian Bateman continue to give good minutes. And then we'll see what the status of Dom Nelson because he has been dealing with an injury. We'll have to keep up with that. But kind of want to see what like your bench be kind of guys that can help out like the starters. Let's say like the starters, maybe one or two of the starters have an off night, get some good bench points and good energy. So and yeah, that's pretty much what I just want to see just to kind of start out Big 12 play. And
Nice, nice. Yes. Yeah, for me, yeah, keeping up the intensity, um, being good in high pressure situations. So I mean, this is what this team has been battle tested the entire year. Being able and then like uh keeping that same type of effort there, because obviously like you just said, when you went, you said that like it's tough to play by games like this, but now you're going to be getting everybody's best shot.
mm-hmm.
My thing I'm looking for is how is this team going to play now that they're the hunted? That's going to be the key, Cody. Is this team is now number three in the nation. You are going to be the team that everybody is going to rush the court for now. So how is Iowa State going to handle it from that perspective? That's what I'm looking to see because hey, look, y'all said that you want to be that type of team. Now, hey, look, it's your time to prove it now. So it's put up or shut up.
Yeah,
So I still think we're going to win this game by a lot. I don't think that it'll be really any trouble for the Cyclones,
mm-hmm.
and they're not going to overlook it because if anything, one thing I will say is that so far this season, TJ has had his teams ready and raring to go. So I'm very excited to see how the Cyclones come and respond.
Yep. And you mentioned kind of like being the hunted. Iowa State experienced that exact thing last year when they were ranked number two in the country, and then they got the best shot from West Virginia. I mentioned that. And then they got a really good shot. Like Arizona State gave them some trouble, and then obviously Arizona, and then Kansas
Yeah.
State
Oh
came in.
yeah.
They're building with the mission and a purpose, and absolutely whooped our ass. And that was just that's just frank. They just wanted to whip our ass because not only was it obviously a high ranked team, but also it was Farmington and obviously the context behind the
Right.
basketball rivalry as of late.
Yeah.
So they know. I think TJ knows what it feels like. And then Taylor Lipsy, Milan Momcilovic, Joshua Jefferson, Nate Heise, and the guys who are returning, they all know what it's like to be like the hunted, and they know what the expectation is. So they're gonna play up to it. And I mean, gonna go off a tangent like not basketball related. I was watching TJ Altenberger's press conference, and he talked about like stuff off the court. He talked about like the academic achievement and kind of like
Mm-hmm.
how they like put focus on like preparing guys for life beyond basketball. So that was really cool to just watch TJ like take a moment to really reflect on like the academic work they've done and like how they prepare themselves on and off the court. And obviously that goes to like their daily habits. I mean, TJ has always coined the phrase, how you do anything is how you do everything. So I think they're taking that mentality, and that's something they're going to have to take for this Big 12 season. So really excited for the men's team. And then kind of flashing back to the women's team, it's halftime right now. They are up 45 to 31 like Houston Cougars, so they're looking to take care of business and get out of Houston with the win. I'm kind of surprised they haven't shown Jimmy Butler at the game because just a random thing. I literally said to somebody, like, just I think I said in the Psych Fanatic After Dark Discord, formerly known as Wide Right 90 Light, um, I mentioned just watch how Jimmy Butler's going to show up to this Iowa State Houston women's basketball game like it did at the women's volleyball game. Haven't seen him yet, but that would have been the funniest thing to see.
That would have been nice, man.
Yeah, but I'm excited. Like and I mean, yeah, with basketball season fully load, I mean, we could take. I want to just look at some of these other games that are going on because obviously we, as Iowa State, we're gonna have to wait till Friday to watch the men's team. But there are a couple of games. There are a couple of games that are happening today.
Let's share your screen and let's talk about them.
Um, okay, I probably won't be able to, but I mean, I can.
Oh,
Yeah, don't worry. Yeah. If you can get that up, that's fine. If not, I'll just talk
yeah,
about it. So
I
right
got you.
now, Virginia and Virginia Tech are going at it, and you mentioned Virginia. They're only up one on Virginia Tech, and it's halftime.
Wow.
You want to guess the score of that game?
The score of the Virginia Tech game?
Yep.
I want to say like 25-24.
Minus a point for each one of them.
What?
Yeah, it is 24-23 right now. So you are literally 2 points off of being exactly correct. Look at that, man. Look at this guy go.
Wow.
Yeah, with that type of luck, you should get yourself a lottery ticket, place a parlay, and that's where I can real quick just plug a FanDuel. So thank you very much, FanDuel, for sponsoring our show.
Yes, thank you, FanDuel. A big, big thank you to FanDuel for sponsoring our show. This is our sponsored ad read that we got to do. So, with that, make sure to get your parlays in. We are a week away. Well, now seeding is coming up for the NFL season. Make sure you get your bets in for Super Wildcard Weekend. Go. If you know ball, go and make money with
Mhm.
FanDuel.
Yep, and I mean,
All
there's
right.
going to be a
Yes.
lot
Go
for
ahead.
college football as well. Miami, Ohio State's playing tonight. The Cotton
Yes.
Bowl, and then New Year's Day. So who knows? Maybe you can start your New Year off making some money.
Yes. Do that. Go make yourself some money. Um, Give me a few minutes. We're gonna take a look at the schedule for the for college basketball today. Oh my gosh, dude, Pavia is throwing dimes, man.
It looked like Diego Pavia finally started to lock in.
Yeah, bro is locked in right now.
Yeah,
Problem is that their defense can't stop anybody, so it won't probably won't even matter.
true. Yeah.
All right, here is the schedule.
Yep. So I mean,
All
yeah,
right,
as you
so these are
mentioned.
all Wednesday games. Yeah.
Yep. So you mentioned Wednesday's games. Virginia and VTech are going at it right now. You also have some more ACC play with Georgia Tech and Duke. And then at 4 o'clock on Peacock, you have UConn taking on Xavier. Xavier is kind of meddling, but I think for UConn, they could just continue to run rampant. And I mean, Dan Hurley's got that thing going where I thought maybe they could have had. I mean, they certainly reloaded after last year's disappointing year for the Huskies. Dan Hurley has reloaded.
He sure has. The Huskies are going to be a problem. I'm trying to think of any of the matchups that really look appealing. Honestly, there's
Yeah, I
not
don't.
really any that don't look appealing to me.
Yeah, and I mean, in the Big East, I don't see a team outside of UConn like because I think the Big East is down this year. Like that
Oh,
conference is
very yeah,
down.
yeah, oh yeah. Oh,
Oof.
touchdown Vanderbilt.
Oh, well, hey,
Hey,
yep, another touchdown for them. Let's see if maybe just maybe they can get at least one stop against Iowa. But I mean, Iowa's like, hey, I think they've unlocked the offense, which is the scariest sight to see. Imagine somebody telling somebody that 5 years ago that Iowa would have a an offense that scores 31 points in a bowl game.
they would have said you were crazy, Cody. Come on.
Yeah, maybe more crazier if it was 2 years ago.
Oh yeah, definitely. Oh, that was ugh.
Hmm. Yeah, so looking, I mean, there's a lot of mid majors are going on right now. Tulsa is running it up on Rice. Tulsa out of the American is looking to be one of those like dominant mid majors. So look out for Tulsa. Tulane could possibly do the same. Then I mean, and then kind of skip over to the weekend because I'm like outside of
Oh
it,
sure.
there isn't like much, but I mean the weekend certainly is going to be jammed packed with basketball.
We're gonna go to Saturday.
Yeah, I mean this is where conference play really is just cooking. Yeah.
So then he goes on the road to NC State.
Hmm.
Oh, sorry, I pressed the wrong button.
Yeah, you mentioned Virginia taking on NC State. That's a 10 a.m. local tip. All right, nice way to start your day, start your New Year's Saturday. Just sitting at home and watch a load of college basketball. This is what I'm here for.
It's the most wonderful time of the year for you, definitely.
Yep. And then some more matchups. We got an early heavyweight matchup between in the SEC between number 14 Alabama hosting Mark Pope's Kentucky Wildcats. That one's going to have implications early on for seeding, like at least in the SEC and kind of the standings. So that's an early test for both of those teams to see if maybe Kentucky can find like their way back into like the
Hmm.
top of the SEC, or Alabama can continue to, no pun intended, roll.
I think the Tide pull away in that one, but it should be interesting. Villanova going on the road to Butler. We have Providence on the road at St. John's. We have Virginia Tech going on the road to Wake Forest. Probably in this slot, the one that I'm looking at, or at least two of them I'm looking at, are Oklahoma State and Texas Tech.
Mm-hmm.
Can Oklahoma State continue their winning ways and possibly shock Tech at home? Auburn, who is now unranked, still a solid team, but they have to go on the road to number 23 Georgia. That's going to be a great matchup.
Mm-hmm.
So at least in the SEC, there are marquee matchups that
Yeah.
are going to be watched.
Yeah. I mean, I think the thing with Georgia, they can like this is for them to prove that they can actually compete with the big boys. I mean, looking at their schedule, they haven't necessarily faced like their schedule isn't necessarily the strongest. So this would be a great win to bolster up their resume a little bit with the win against Auburn. So that's gonna be kind of an opportunity for them to really strengthen the resume and prove that they are kind of legit. So I think some people are looking at Georgia's schedule as like they aren't exactly the strongest team to be number 23 in the country. So it's opportunity
Yes.
ground for them. And then the Big 12, this is the game on CBS. I'll begin to hear that beautiful CBS anthem. Number 10 BYU heads to Manhattan to take on the Kansas State Wildcats. Boy, oh boy, I think Kansas State needs this one desperately because things are a bit rocky in Manhattan.
Yeah, really all they have is PJ Haggard, and that's it. But he's been scoring the basketball at will lately. Number 10 BYU comes into town with AJ Debonsa, and
The
what's
Tater
his
Tot
name?
Man, Richie Saunders.
Yes, yeah, Richie Saunders. Yes,
Oh, boy. Some more, and then on Peacock, this will be a Peacock game at 1 o'clock. Number 17 Kansas heads to Orlando to take on UCF. Will Darren Peterson be healthy for this? That's the biggest thing I'm looking at. Will Darren Peterson actually be healthy to play this game? Because good God, like that guy would be like he's like a really highly touted player, and he's good, but he just hasn't seen the court because he hasn't been able to stay healthy. So hoping that he is healthy for this game, and we can see like more of Darren Peterson, why he is like one of the best freshmen in the country.
there you go. Yes. All right. Um, right now we've taken a look at some Big 12 teams. So right now we're gonna do this is a new segment that we're debuting today. We're gonna talk about the weekly Big 12 top five. Get used to us ranking what the Big 12 is each week after two games. Probably expect these type of episodes maybe on like a Friday or something like that. Definitely not a week of a game, especially if it's a Saturday game.
Yeah.
But I guess we're gonna go back to this. Has your top five really changed much from the other time?
I'd say no. My top five like right now would be Arizona, Iowa State, like Houston, BYU, and Texas Tech in that order. I don't.
Nice.
I think a lot of people would have you could probably shuffle Arizona, Iowa State. You could probably shuffle a couple of teams where they are, but I think generally that top five. A lot of people can agree that those are currently the top five teams in the Big 12. Just with the way that obviously Arizona and Iowa State are rolling, they're undefeated on the year. Houston, uh, they're Houston. The Calvin Sampson continues to really they continue to be a power in the Big 12, even if maybe they aren't undefeated or whatever. Outside of that game against Tennessee, they have like been doing their thing. Like they've been steamrolling teams and just continue to really clamp down defensively. So you look for Houston to and I mean they've rolled ever since they've been in the Big 12. They've dominated pretty much the
Oh
entire
yeah.
time they've been in the Big 12. Like, like you can't ever count Houston out. I don't think you can count them out. And then
No, definitely not.
yeah, and then BYU. This team looks like they could go to the Elite Eight or the Final Four. With the
Yeah, man.
return the shooting prowess of Richie Saunders, who can score from just about anywhere, and then you add a talented freshman in AJ DeBansta, and the way that they play basketball, that is a team that you cannot take lightly. And like
They
they,
are a matchup nightmare.
yeah, yeah. I mean, Iowa State, we know a thing or two about them being a matchup nightmare because they are the antithesis of it of Otto Basket Burger Ball teams who can shoot from just about anywhere and is able to spread it across and get those quick passes to escape the double team.
Yeah, it is going to be fun to see how the guys do. Make sure if you are in Ames to catch the game on Friday.
Mm-hmm.
Cheer loud, cheer often.
Yeah.
All right, guys.
Oh, we didn't
Uh,
even.
oh yeah, go
I
ahead.
didn't even finish. I didn't even mention Texas Tech. I mean, I was a
Oh
little.
snap!
Yeah,
Yeah, I gotta
yeah,
even do my top five.
yeah. I was a bit
Jeez,
concerned with
what am I
Texas
doing?
Tech with how like they were doing, but I mean, the win against Duke, they still don't necessarily have the depth to do it because
Yeah,
they're not a really deep team. But I mean, when those talented guys get going, they get going. Christian Anderson, JT Toppin, and then LeJon Watts as their X factor. Those guys can score the ball at high volume. But yeah, would like to see more like kind of depth wise. But obviously, when you have either Anderson or JT Toppin go off, like who could put up 30 on any night, you are gonna be in a lot of those games. So, and then obviously that win at Duke is huge because it gives them confidence to know that they can compete, and maybe they can like take care and then get that one against Oklahoma State is looking pretty solid, and then they can get some confidence heading into as they continue Big 12 play.
yes, sir. All right, for me, my top teams are Arizona, Iowa State, Houston, uh, Texas. Who am I forgetting? So I said
Arizona,
Arizona,
Iowa State,
Iowa
Houston.
State, Houston. Oh, BYU, and then Tech.
So yeah, we have the exact same.
I think BYU probably has the highest upside just based on the fact that they have like an NBA style offense,
Oh
and
yeah.
that running that type of offense in college basketball is basically unstoppable because
Mm-hmm.
it's just about spacing and having the type of shooters that you have. So they
Yep.
they are going to be a tough out. I'm not looking forward to going to Provo at all this year.
Oh yeah, that is gonna be that is nightmare fuel right there. And I know a
Oh
few.
boy.
Oh, also what's funny is a known psychophatic podcaster Dylan Kuhn. He let's just say he hates the Mormons like one of my other buddies. He does not like them at all.
Yeah.
Like there's something about playing in Provo that just gets the worst out of us Iowa State or like Iowa State fans and like even players. There's something about Provo. I don't know what it is.
Referring to Dylan Coons, what in the world was that foolishness of him having freaking JoJo Tugler on Big 12 Player of the Year? What a joke. Are you kidding me?
Sorry,
A
bro.
defensive only player? When you have guys that are going to be averaging 25 and 7? Or Joshua Jefferson is probably going to average 20 and 10? Come on, bro. Like, I
No.
understand JoJo Tugler is a good player, but my guy, come on.
I didn't even think we get to this point, but it was that was funny.
I
I love
had to,
you.
man. I was like, bro, what?
Yeah, I love you, though, but I don't know. Like, I get where you're coming from because like JoJo Tugler's on an island of its own. But I think if we're talking the player of the year, I think we gotta like you gotta think like within the conference. I would like there has to be better metrics. There's more to it than like defense obviously plays a huge part, but I mean Dylan is a defensive guy by nature, so love you, man.
He
And
is. I
that's
just,
so, but yeah, that caused a lot of heat. So I love how this has turned into a debate, and yeah, we might have to discuss. This is a thing to just break down as we get further into Big 12 play. But we'll see. Maybe JoJo Tugger could prove everybody wrong, and maybe prove Dylan right. We'll see what happens.
we'll see. Yeah, we'll definitely see. All right, Cody. Thank you for joining me today.
Yep.
Thank you, everybody else, for joining in our now afternoon show. Uh, Looking at the live show numbers today, we have 24 people locked in today. Thank you, 24 sickos who joined us on our afternoon episode of the Believe in Iowa State podcast. Few things before we go. We just want to make sure you guys reach out to us. You can find Cody on Twitter at Tyranny's Burner. You can find me on Twitter at SciTi Guy. We can be found on our 6 forms of social media. We're on Twitch at Believe in ISU 2025. We can also can be found on Facebook, YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, and X. Um, so for that, that is the end of the Believe in Iowa State podcast. For Tyler Carter,
And for Cody Vincenzo,
this is the Believe in Iowa State podcast. Roll clones, baby.
Happy New Year, Cyclones.
Happy New Year!